I hated who I was, or like who I thought I was, and I hated being me. So anything that would make me not feel like me is what I did. My mom was a first grade teacher, and my dad worked for State Farm. And then at like the age of 11, they had a calling on their hearts to serve with an overseas ministry. And so we all packed up and we moved to Quito, Ecuador, South America. It was like definitely culture shock. So I'm going from a town of 3,400 people into a city of 2.5 million people. And then upon my return, 4 years later, I did my high school at the same school that I was doing my elementary school at. So I didn't really fit in during my middle school years. I didn't really fit in my high school years. And so that was something that definitely started a stage of rebellion. So I felt as if my parents and this God, because I was young, I didn't really understand. I felt like they were like pulling me away from all my friends and like my environment. And so that really like developed like a hatred towards the God that I understood at that time. And then towards my parents and my family. I tried everything and anything to like fill this like longing in my heart for what was Jesus, but I just didn't understand to a degree, or I didn't want to understand because I had like this wall built up to him. But man, I tried all different drugs, everything. I drank like a fish, man. I was always drinking. Eventually, I was just lifeless and just feeling like there was no point to life. And so that led to like suicidal thoughts. I started taking like heavier drugs. So like I would stop taking Adderall. I started doing meth. And then from there, I started using needles. I never used needles before, but I just wanted to die. I wanted to do like a drug-induced suicide. That landed me in the hospital. And in the hospital, like I was detoxing through all this stuff and I was just feeling like so lost and so broken. I remember the hospital had like this little thing like stale Coca-Cola and like saltine crackers. And so I went out there and I got like a little cup full and I got the saltine crackers. I went to my room and I did a communion and I was like, look, Lord, like I tried everything to fill this hole in my heart. And I said, I'm ready to like try you. My parents found out about Wheeler Mission through a friend and then recommended it to me. And I was just like, okay, like I'm ready. And so I did 10 weeks in orientation here. And I went down to camp and I was at camp for 6 weeks. After that, I did the foundations program and I was in that for 2 months, attending class, doing chores throughout the building, life application classes that are biblically based. I knew of the Bible, I knew of God, but I never knew how to have a relationship with him. I had a calling on my heart to serve, and so I signed up for the SLT program. And so I got to give back for, I think, 4.5 months. And then they offered me a job as program assistant. And so I took that job. Then they offered me a job as a case manager. And now they've offered me a job to be a case manager for the SLT program. My plans for the future are just to remain faithful. So whatever the Lord puts in front of me, whether it's here, but I plan to stay in ministry. I'm currently going to College of Biblical Studies, and I'm getting a split bachelor's in biblical counseling and biblical studies. I'm super close with my parents. I talk to them about every day. I talk to my brother about every day, which is something like that never happened before. I get up super early in the morning. I go to the gym first thing. I start my day that way. I don't know what the Lord's going to do in my future, but I know he's molding me, and I know he's got me right where he wants me right now, and I'm super grateful for that.